Look into my eyes. Your soul is stained by the blood of the innocent. Feel their pain.
The 90 series ended at issue 93, with its last issue ending in, I think it was 97. It was canceled before their final issue, so they didn't actually release the final issue until 10 years later, and the only reason they released it was to celebrate the first Ghost Rider movie. So if that movie did one good thing in its lifetime, it was help release issue 94. So issue 94 was finally released. 10 years later, volume 3 was released in 2001 with 6 issues. I only have issue 1 because I actually don't like this series. I'll probably get the graphic novel just because I'm a completionist. The series sucked. It had Johnny Blaze come back into being Ghost Rider with no explanation how he got his powers back and what was going on. He was working in an office. The story's just, I just don't like it. I personally don't. You can give it a try if you want. I don't recommend it. It is only 6 issues long. The trade paperback is really cheap, and it's called The Hammer Lane. The only thing good about it I could probably say is the artwork's kind of cool. I dig the artwork, but it's not my favorite Ghost Rider artwork, but it's alright. After 2001's 6 issues miniseries, 2005 to 2006, there was another 6 issue miniseries. This one was much better, by Clayton Crane and Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis being the writer and Clayton Crane being the artist. It is fantastic. It's called The Road to Damnation. I actually highly recommend this one. It's extremely exciting, fun to read. Because, Blaze sold his soul to the devil finally came to collect. Blaze is pretty much rotting in hell as the Ghost Rider, and an angel needs his help, so he actually gets him out of hell to track down some demon on Earth. Blaze gets tied into this war between heaven and hell. Kind of gets screwed over. I don't want to ruin the story. It's really fun to read. But if you're interested in Ghost Rider, this is a good story to read, because it's a self-contained story. It doesn't really ripple off into any of the other series or things. It's a good story to dip your toes in. They did another 6 issue miniseries. It has nothing to do with any of the other series or any of the main characters. It takes place in the Civil War. It's called Trail of Tears. It's really cool. The artwork, it's the same artist, so it's stellar artwork. It's just a self-contained story that takes place around I think it's after the Civil War? I think it's after the Civil War. But yeah, around that time. Something to check out. You might enjoy, you might not. I think it's fantastic. I have a hard time recommending things in the sense that I know if you're looking for Ghost Rider, you will most likely enjoy these stories. If you're not looking for Ghost Rider, I don't know why you're here in the first place. The next volume is volume 5, split into 2 halves. Issue 1 through 19 is written by Daniel Way. They have a full graphic novel you can pick up of it. This is a pretty fun springboard if you want to just read some Ghost Rider. Johnny Blaze escapes from hell. In doing so, though, the devil latched onto his bike while he was escaping, and he split off into, guess how many pieces? 666. Each of those pieces would possess a dead body, and it's the essence of the devil. So Johnny Blaze has to track down each of these pieces and basically re-kill these these undead beings. They're not really zombies because they have the devil's conscious. They all are split off, but they all have the devil's consciousness. So it's all basically pieces of the devil, and he has to kill all of them. And in doing so, each of the pieces he kills makes the other ones that are still on Earth that much stronger. So by the time you get to the last couple pieces, they're all insanely powerful. It's pretty interesting. Very well done. An exciting story. The first half I enjoy. It's pretty good. The second half is just a treat to behold. Either, pick up the issues of the second half. The first half I don't have all of the issues of, but the second half I do. It's written by Jason Aaron. You could also get it just in graphic novel form. This is the whole second half. It is stellar. The only problem I have recommending it, I do recommend it, but I recommend it more for people who have already read a lot of Ghost Rider, and his run is a celebration of everything that Ghost Rider is. There are so many Easter eggs, there's so many little treats for longtime Ghost Rider readers. Anyone can enjoy his series, especially the first 4. Hellbent, Heaven Bound are fantastic. It is an excellent grindhouse thriller. From that point on, most of it is really for longtime Ghost Rider readers to enjoy and be excited about. There are so many references, so much to it builds upon it and moves forward. At the end of Jason Aaron's run, there was a 6-issue miniseries, Heavens on Fire. I just kind of consider it part of the run. Heavens on Fire is how Jason Aaron's run ends. Very awesome story, really worth reading. So the problem is though everyone that writes Ghost Rider doesn't really take what the last writer did and build upon it. They just do their own thing. And that's the frustrating yet wonderful thing about Ghost Rider is you can really pick up any volume and enjoy it, but after volume 1, 2, and Jason Aaron's run, every writer afterwards really ignores Ghost Rider lore and ignores what's been done before and does their own thing. It's so frustrating. It's every now and then you get a writer like Jason Aaron who takes what's happened before and builds upon it instead of just doing their own thing. Volume 5, which is pretty much these two combined, really good shit. Really good stuff. Anyone who loves Ghost Rider would enjoy. I don't want to talk too much about the second half because it's something that I feel like you should just read. It's really good though. It's one of the best volumes in Ghost Rider in my opinion. Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, Motorstorm. It was fun. It was a fun story. After that, the next volume of Ghost Rider is only 9 issues long. It introduces Alejandra, and I really, really like Alejandra. I think she was a great character. The concepts in this run were excellent. My issue wasn't the concepts, my issue was the execution in the writing. I did not like how this character wrote Johnny Blaze, and Johnny Blaze may not be the Ghost Rider in this volume, but he is pretty much... Sometimes he feels like the main character. I mean, he is the supporting character, but you know more about him, and there is more depth to his character than there is to Alejandra, so you kind of feel like you're following his character more than you're following Alejandra. And it's really frustrating. She feels more like a vessel for vengeance than an actual person, where sometimes the spirit itself feels that way, but you do attach to the character that's being possessed, and you attach to their thoughts, feelings, emotions, and their wants and goals. Whereas in this series, Alejandra just wasn't much there, and the way they wrote Blaze really frustrated me because they gave him this really thick southern drawl, which, yeah, Johnny Blaze kind of sometimes has that hick tone to him, but yeah, he doesn't really feel like Johnny Blaze with the voice. The voice really bothers me because I've been reading Johnny Blaze for about 30 years, and he doesn't sound like that ever before and ever again. This is the only place that he sounds like this, and that's what's frustrating, is that when you're a longtime reader, if you're a new reader, it probably wouldn't bother you, but if you're a longtime reader, you're like, what the hell is this? I can't really recommend that. It's only 9 issues long, and I can't really recommend it just because of the fact how it's written. It's really, really frustrating. The cool thing is, I will say, she made one appearance in X-Men in this issue. She appears in that. She's really cool in that. The artwork's excellent in that. The one thing I can recommend of Alejandra's run is actually her guest appearance in Venom at the time. There was this Venom series called Venom Circle of 4. It was excellent. Basically this rehash of the new Fantastic Four, but with different versions of the characters. Instead of Spider-Man, you got Flash Thompson's Venom. Instead of Dan Ketch's Ghost Rider, you get Alejandra's Ghost Rider. Instead of Wolverine, you get X-23. Bruce Banner Hulk, you get the Red Hulk, which is Thunderbolt Ross. Circle of 4, that miniseries, I think you can get that in a graphic novel, I'll look it up, is extremely fun. That I can recommend. The next volume is All New Ghost Rider, so when you look up this title, look up All New Ghost Rider, and then it's 12 issues long. The artwork is insanely cool. Trad Moore, his artwork is some of the coolest artwork I've ever seen. Really, really love it. But that's a series I can recommend without even flinching. It's a very, very fun series. Robbie Reyes is a really cool character. I really like this first story with Robbie. Very fun, very exciting. It took Mr. Hyde, a character I don't really care for at all in Marvel Comics, and made him entertaining and fun. It was it's really, really cool series. After that, there was this mini series called Ghost Racers, which I think is only 4 issues long. It is a celebration of Ghost Rider. For any fan who loves Ghost Rider, it has all the previous incarnations. It even has Carter Slade, the horse Ghost Rider. You got Johnny Blaze, you got Dan Ketch, you got Alejandra, Robbie, and Carter Slade, and they're all racing each other. It's just insanely fun story. Definitely worth checking out. After that, there was this 5-issue series, which it was really crazy, is it's written by the same guy who wrote the last Robbie Reyes series, the 12 issues before. When they did this series, it's ridiculous. This series I think it's crazy how he wrote such an incredible 12 issues there, and this series was kind of boring. I had no fun with it at all. I don't enjoy it. They tried to do that whole Circle of Four thing kind of again, where they did their own version of the Fantastic Four. I mean, their own version of the all-new Fantastic Four. Sorry, the reflection kind of keeps getting crazy. So instead of Spider-Man, they use Silk. Instead of Bruce Banner's Hulk, there's this other Green Hulk that I've never heard of before. Ghost Rider, Robbie. And instead of Wolverine, it's X-23 again, but X-23 in a Wolverine costume. It's just not fun. It's not. Maybe I should give it another shot, but I did not enjoy it at all the first time I read it. I was very disappointed because he wrote such a good 12 issues before. This one, I felt like the focus was off. The focus was more on those other characters than it was on Robbie a lot of the time, and I'm reading a Ghost Rider comic. I think Robbie should be the main focus, right? So I was very disappointed. I didn't like it. After that, one other thing I can recommend is Thunderbolts did a series, kind of a relaunch. I mean, it's issue 20 of Thunderbolts, of this Marvel Now Thunderbolts. It's confusing because it says No Mercy #1 up here. And I mean, I get it. It's the first issue of that new story. But when you're looking at a comic book cover and you see #1 on the title, you're going to think that's issue 1. It's really cool. It's this new Thunderbolts series. Johnny Blaze is a huge focus of it. It's Johnny Blaze joining the Thunderbolts. It's just really fun. It's issue 20 to issue 32. Ghost Rider's kind of a big focus in the first story, but he's not as much in the other ones. But it's still a fun read, and it's something that, if you're a fan of this stuff, you will probably enjoy. After that, it kind of gets a little scattered. There isn't a main Ghost Rider title for a while. There's this Spirits of Vengeance series. I have to try reading again because I did not really... I stopped reading because I just didn't care. But when I found out what the results were at the end of the story, I'm like, maybe I should give it another try. Doctor Strange Damnation series. It takes place right after this. Kind of a spoiler, but if you're reading comics now, or you're going to be reading some of this other stuff, you find out anyways. Basically, Johnny Blaze becomes the ruler of hell. Because of that, there's all these other stories that carry along in Marvel that kind of deal with that. Dan Ketch actually becomes the main Ghost Rider in comics for a bit, and it's really cool. This issue is extremely hard to get, for the stupidest reason ever, because it's the first appearance of Wolverine's daughter. The reason I say it's stupid is Wolverine already has a bunch of kids. I mean, maybe not a bunch, but he has other kids. So I don't understand why this one is such a big deal. And I don't even hear about her anymore at all in comics. So I don't feel like it ended up being as big of a deal as people were making it out to be. But because of that, the price of this issue hiked up so much. I'm very frustrated. I didn't care about anything in here except for the fact that it was the return of Dan Ketch. It was the whole reason I bought it. Didn't care about the whole Wolverine daughter thing. Plus, I always kind of saw Lyra X-23 as his daughter, symbolically. I will say that after that story, the next appearance of Dan Ketch is in this Symbiote of Vengeance, Absolute Carnage crossover thing. And also, Alejandra comes back for one issue. And every problem I had with Alejandra was actually solved in this one issue. She ended up being the most interesting, exciting, and really cool character in this comic. And I will just say that the way they handle her at the end really upsets me because she had so much potential. It's very frustrating because now she's like not in anything anymore. And that one issue made me really like her. And I was like, wow, if anyone could just start writing her like that, I would love to read her series. And then she's gone. The Ed Bryson series with Dan Ketch got canceled after only 7 issues. I didn't like what they did with Dan Ketch in it after issue 3. I don't want to explain too much if you want to check it out. I had huge issues with it, especially the design looks stupid as fuck. You'll understand what I'm talking about if you read it. So I don't really recommend it. It's frustrating because the way the writer writes the characters is so well done. The concepts and ideas were fun, except for what they do with Dan Ketch. I hated what they did with his character. But everything else about it was excellent. So it's a really, really struggle to recommend that run. So after that, there's also this Avengers story that was going on. The Challenge of the Ghost Riders. It's really cool. Johnny Blaze is in it. Robbie Reyes is a big thing. It's written by Jason Aaron, one of my favorite Ghost Rider writers. Cosmic Ghost Rider appears in it. I don't care about Cosmic Ghost Rider, but you might. It's only from issue 22 to 25. Holy crap, it's awesome. So New Fantastic Four was a thing that I keep mentioning, that started up in the 90s Fantastic Four series, issue 347. It goes from 347 to 349 as the original story. They come back, though, 374. They're just a cool team. It's Wolverine, Dan Ketch's Ghost Rider, the Hulk, and Spider-Man. And originally it's Mr. Fix-It Hulk. In their second appearance, it's just regular Hulk. but they're just awesome. They're an awesome team. They come back in this What If story. The new Fantastic Four remained a team. That's a fun one. They just keep popping up randomly throughout time. There's another one in Ages of Apocalypse Wolverine. They just look so cool. I don't know. I think their costumes look kind of dorky here. Peter especially kind of looks like a dork. And Ghost Rider, it just doesn't... The suit doesn't really work. I think Spider-Man would look fine if he had the mask on. But I sound like Black Cat right now, if you get that reference. They also appeared in Fear Itself, Fearsome 4. I try to track down every time the new Fantastic Four appear, mostly because I'm a huge Dan Ketch fan and he doesn't pop up really anywhere anymore. So anytime I can find him, I will track him down. They have a new series that just came out. It's only 5 issues long. And it's just, they're an awesome team. There's also one more. There is the Doctor Strange Sorcerer Supreme series that has introduced a Ghost Rider that is a Sorcerer Supreme, which is pretty cool. Kind of worth checking out. Again, I will have probably links to a lot of these comics. There is a new Ghost Rider series out right now. It's kind of more of a horror title. There's like 100 different covers for issue 1, but there's one of them. It's about Johnny Blaze. I've only read issue 1, and holy crap, is it amazing. So I think that, especially if you like horror, it's a really, really good first issue. So I definitely recommend that. Also, there is Midnight Suns. I have my own reservations and issues with it just because I feel like the writer who's writing it did not do very well when it came to research on some of the characters, as in the Ghost Rider that's involved in it. The Ghost Rider that's involved in it is the Sorcerer Supreme Ghost Rider. She had a one-shot appearance. Yeah, Spirit of Vengeance, Spirit Rider. In this specific issue, they travel into Johnny Blaze's mind. She's in there, and she ends up talking to, I think it's Barton Blaze, Johnny Blaze's father. Remember, this is his subconscious and stuff, so he's, of course, dead. I think they're actually in his memories. And Barton and her talk, and he asks her if she likes motorcycles, because he's a stunt rider and he rides a motorcycle, and she says no, and she specifically says that she prefers horses because she likes the connection that a horse and the rider can have with each other. And it's such a huge fundamental part of her character, the way she eloquates and talks about that you can tell that that's something that's really special to her. So as a writer, you would write her riding a horse, because like the fiery horse. The first issue of this new Midnight Suns series has her ride a motorcycle. And it's one of those things that's just, it's hard to explain, but it's like if you see Bruce Wayne Batman, modern Bruce Wayne Batman, just shooting everyone. I know he's used guns before, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about the argument. My point is, so fundamentally against the modern version of the character. And this, she's only had like 2 or 3 appearances. It wouldn't be hard to put in the effort to research the character that you're going to be writing and using in your comic. You should know your characters. It's part of writing. So it really frustrates me that she's riding a motorcycle. I don't know. It was a little gripe that I had with it. I was like, man, I was really enjoying the character, and then this writer does that. And it's one of those things I could probably get past. It's a little nitpick, but holy crap, does it annoy me. And it probably shouldn't annoy me as much as it does, but it does. Anyways, something else I wanted to mention was this book. I wanted to recommend it. It's a Ghost Rider visual guide. If you Google Ghost Rider visual guide, you should be able to find it. It covers the first volume of Johnny Blaze's run through Dan Ketch's run. It also talks about Hammer Lane, Road to Damnation, and then it previews the Daniel Way run, and it has little previews of the first Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movie. And it has a little bit of 2099 Ghost Rider in here, but it does cover a lot of content. It'll get you your basic knowledge of Ghost Rider if you want it. It's a good book. It's really cool. I just thought I'd throw that in there. It's a pretty important detail that I didn't want to miss. All right. That's about all I can say. I will have some stuff in the bottom for you to check out. All right. Have a good one.